Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 24, still just 2 episodes away from Over the Limit. And speaking of Over the Limit, at that pay-per-view, AJ Styles and Kurt Angle will go one-on-one. However, tonight, to solve Styles' recent attitude problem, he teams up with Kurt Angle to take on the NLW Tag Team Champions in Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez. That is still to come in this part, but also here to come in this part, well, we're going to hear from the former Intercontinental Champion, Chris Benoit. The man who at Destruction lost the Intercontinental title to Chris Jericho in controversial fashion. Last week it was a quarter-final matchup between Benoit and Jericho in the tournament to crown a number one contender for the world title. However, that match turned to chaos. They started to brawl throughout the building, and it ended up with Benoit beating Jericho into the backstage area and putting on his crossface to make Jericho tap out. What has Benoit got to say to Jericho after losing his title at Destruction?
Since becoming Intercontinental Champion at WrestleMania, I have never, ever been as insulted as I was this last week when issued a challenge by a man who refers to himself as Y2J. Here's a guy whose claim to fame is getting a quick 3 count by an unsanctioned referee just to have the opportunity to wear the World Heavyweight title. Quite the ego, Jericho, quite the ego. Last I looked in the archives, nowhere did I see Chris Jericho as World Heavyweight Champion. I'd like to remind everyone just how the Y2J became Intercontinental Champion. Roll tape!
What we're about to see is what happened a few weeks back at Destruction. This was where it was a submission match. The winner was determined by the loser tapping out, and Benoit did not do that. Jericho hitting Benoit off the skull with the knee brace, Benoit's own knee brace, making him bleed, and that meant Jericho could put the walls of Jericho on Benoit. However, Benoit passed out, he didn't tap out, and that's where the controversy lies.
What credentials does Chris Jericho have to even think of issuing a challenge to me? Ability? The Crippler is by far the most sound technical wrestler in the world today. The most intimidating part about Chris Jericho is his ring entrance. So what it boils down to is his popularity and all the Jerichoholics. Is that a couple of the letter F's at the end of Jericho, and you'll know exactly how I think and feel of Y2J and all.
Well, apparently we're going to be joined out here by the Intercontinental Champion. Chris Jericho giving up, waiting in the back. He's going to come out here and face off with Chris Benoit. Chris Jericho, the man who won the Intercontinental title in controversial fashion from Benoit back at Destruction in that submission matchup. And he is out here. But what has he got to say following Benoit talking about how Jericho don't deserve to be champion? What does Jericho have to respond to that?
You shut the hell up!
Great technical wrestler. Heck, if this was the 60s, I'm sure you'd be a great champion. But unfortunately for you, this is Y2J. And judging by the crickets that chirped when you made your ring entrance, and the Jerichoholics that roared when I made mine, I have to say that they want to see that title around my waist. As far as they're concerned, I'm still the Intercontinental Champion. As a matter of fact, as far as they're concerned, you're still the Canadian Grappler. Do you accept the challenge or not, Mr. Roboto?
Asking if he wants a rematch.
Take this as a yes.
Well, Benoit in Jericho, it appears that a rematch is going to happen. Benoit's going to get his rematch for the Intercontinental title down the line. Now they're shaking hands. That's classy, but oh nah. Well, you kind of expected that. Jericho doing what he always does and backstabs the guy. Benoit showing respect and being classy as ever. However, Chris Jericho, our Intercontinental Champion, that's how he's going to treat his challengers. And if he's going to treat him like that here tonight, I'm sure that down the line when Benoit finally does get his rematch, he's going to get his hands on Jericho, and Jericho's not going to be laughing then. The crippler Chris Benoit has set his sights on Chris Jericho, Y2J, and the Intercontinental Championship.
He is the top of the food chain here. He's undefeated. And I want to prove that I am the best in the world. Going into this match, I have a lot to gain. And I do have a lot to lose. I have a reputation. He knows deep down in his heart, but unless he beats Kurt Angle, he can never be in the top ranks of professional wrestling. I enjoy inflicting pain.
It's real. It's damn real.
No Limits Wrestling presents Over the Limit live. Your mind is clearly starting to go against you. I can see that, the fans can see that, and everybody you've interfered with so far has seen that, especially John Cena. Now, I don't know what the hell happened to him earlier tonight, but he ran away from you like a scalded dog, to quote JR. He ran out of the building, and I haven't seen him since. He was supposed to be working later here tonight, but apparently, because of you chasing him out of the arena, that ain't gonna happen anymore. But then again, I can't blame you, that's not your fault, that's just how you are. But your mental state has been brought into question as of late, and that was clear when you attacked John Cena. Now obviously, I can understand why you did that. I know why you did that, but it's because you want a hardcore championship match. That's what this has all been about. That's why you've been attacking John Cena in the past couple of weeks, following when you lost the title to him at Destruction. So I get that. So what I'm going to do is, at Over the Limit, our next pay-per-view, I'm booking a match for the NLW Hardcore Championship. Raven, you're getting your rematch. It's going to be at Over the Limit for the NLW Hardcore Championship. Raven versus John Cena in an I Quit match. All you have to do is make your opponent say I quit, and judging by the way John Cena's ran from you, he's not going to want to face you anyway. But he's got no choice, because I'm the commissioner, and what I say goes. Nevertheless, Raven, you've got a match to prepare for, because later tonight you're going one-on-one with Mr. Anderson. But in the meantime, try and stay out of trouble. Well, what a matchup that's just been made. I Quit match for the NLW Hardcore Championship. Raven versus John Cena, and along with that, several other high-profile contests. And we still don't know who's going to be facing World Champion Triple H at Over the Limit. But the fact of the matter is, Over the Limit, it will come your way November 2014, and still several matches made tonight alone, including this one, Nash and the Big Show. They won their #1 contenders match earlier tonight, despite it being easy as hell. They take on the champions Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez at the pay-per-view for the NLW Tag Team titles. And this one, it was also made earlier tonight. Randy Orton has reached boiling point. Kane is out for revenge. Kane and Orton go one-on-one at Over the Limit. Will Kane chokeslam Orton to hell, or will the Viper strike yet again? Will it be third time lucky for Orton? We'll see. And this one that was made moments ago, it's been announced as a 3 Stages of Hell match. Bar 1 is submissions count anywhere. Bar 2 is tables match. Bar 3, if needed, will be a ladder match. It's for the NLW IC title, Jericho and Benoit. And this one, Kurt Angle and AJ Styles set to collide. Styles answered the challenge of Angle last week, and it is going to be Styles versus Angle at the pay-per-view. Along with that, who is facing Triple H? Will it be The Undertaker or will it be Sting? We'll find out later on tonight. But what a card it's already shaping up to be for Over the Limit. And of course, still can't wait for the match to decide the #1 contender later on tonight for the title at Over the Limit. And coming up next, a matchup featuring unlikely partners. But to be fair, they don't have the best of chances considering they're going up against the NLW Tag Team Champions. Can AJ Styles put away his recent attitude problem and coexist with the Olympic gold medalist and his opponent for Over the Limit in Kurt Angle? We shall see, but there is no chance in hell that it's going to be easy, because they've got to take on the NLW Tag Team Champions, the champions who last week successfully defended their tag team titles, albeit via a disqualification loss. But here they take on two of the best stars in the business. One of them, the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, who last week made an open challenge to the NLW roster, and who would answer the challenge but Mr. Money in the Bank, AJ Styles. Mr. Money in the Bank Styles accepted the challenge put forward by Angle last week, and that means that it's going to be Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles at Over the Limit. Tonight they're partners. Tonight they're adversaries. At Over the Limit they will be opponents, however tonight they team together against the NLW Tag Team Champions. There you see Mr. Money in the Bank, AJ Styles, ready to go into this tag team title matchup. I'm sorry, this isn't for the NLW Tag Team titles, my mistake. This is a non-title matchup, so they cannot win the titles tonight, but if they manage to get a victory, it would still prove that perhaps Kurt Angle can trust Styles leading into their matchup at Over the Limit. They look into the eyes of the NLW Tag Team flipping champions. They hold the titles at the moment. This is a non-title matchup. The commissioner put this matchup together in order to solve Styles' recent attitude problem. It stemmed from the fact that this matchup gets underway, they lock up. Styles this past week on Metal interrupted CM Punk. Punk was about to give an update and a word on his concussion, and in fact it was CM Punk who was about to give an update on his injury status after being kicked in the skull by Randy Orton. Styles interrupted him and, oh well, speak of the devil, that's the man I was just talking about, CM Punk, and oh, looks as if he's going to join us here. They're already chanting your name.
Capacity crowd obviously into this match as much as I am.
Well, I'm glad you're here to commentary with me, I guess. There they go.
Well, see, this is very interesting. He's going out to get him. This is something that normally he wouldn't do. He likes to do all his talking in the ring. He likes to get the job done in the ring. But this, like I said, this is personal. This is almost a vendetta.
That's what AJ Styles does. But what do you think of Styles?
I just want to hurt him. I mean, I want to hurt him. If somebody kicks me in the face, I don't want to know why. I just want to kick them in the face.
Well, Styles, you've obviously got some animosity after he interrupted you. And what do you think of Kurt Angle?
He's such a fantastic, complete superstar.
Well, that he is, and he's going to work on Chavo Guerrero at the moment. Of course, you can put your input anytime you want, Punk. We'd like to know whether or not you're going to be back soon. And speaking of which, there's a vicious rake to the eyes by Chavo to the Olympic gold medalist.
You know what? It could be a brawl. It could be a lot of different things. You know, I mean, he wants to prove why he's the best, but obviously wants to know exactly why he got kicked in the face.
Of course, these two men will go one-on-one at Over the Limit, as you said. Wonder what that match will be like. They're teaming together, and what a vicious style by Angle right now.
He might still want to try to repair whatever damage has been done. He's trying to wrestle.
Styles is one of the best wrestlers in the business, and it's interesting to see your input here on this panel, considering you are a wrestler. I've never done a commentary together with someone before on NLW, but it's interesting to see you here. Of course, you're not able to compete. That's something we'd better let the fans know. You're not able to compete for a while, considering the cause of the kick you suffered at the hands of Randy Orton a couple of weeks ago at Destruction. And look at Hernandez sticking his nose in the business. Interference from Hernandez, hanging Styles up in the ropes, and Chavo hanging him there, holding him for Hernandez to deliver that big boot to Styles' face. Styles and Angle, no love lost there.
Just like all the superstars are going to survive coming up this Sunday. Are you going to order the pay-per-view?
Yeah, I'm going to order the pay-per-view. In fact, I'll probably get it for free. I work for the company. Over the Limit, of course, in 2 episodes' time. One match already signed is between Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. And look at this double team maneuver from Chavo and Hernandez. Styles gingerly making it to his feet. Look at this again, beating his chest.
These two absolutely hate each other.
Hate each other?
Hate each other.
Well, they do hate each other, and look at this by Styles. Oh my goodness. Maybe they don't hate each other, maybe it's a mutual respect. That's been something that's been talked about in the couple weeks prior to the match being made. Last week when Styles made the challenge, or accepted the challenge even, it was rumoured that it was a mutual respect being shown, but in recent weeks it seems that Styles has had a recent attitude problem, and that's why he's teaming with Kurt Angle here tonight. There's a elbow to the face, and he's caught out. What's this?
Over the head release, belly to belly.
And it's a cover now by Angle, and there we go. Now a flipping Chavo Guerrero, breaking it up, but Styles is on the outside, looking on as Angle delivers the German suplex, and now look at that kick by the 300-pounder Hernandez. And Styles back in with a roundhouse. Roundhouse kick to the skull of Hernandez, and now you see here, look at Angle. The intensity in his eyes, the 3 eyes being put to practice, and you can see now, look at this. Ankle lock submission hold, and it's Hernandez tapping out to Angle. Angle has got him in the middle of the ring, and this don't look good. But now Chavo back in, and Chavo making sure that that did not come to fruition for Kurt Angle, so to speak. And now you see there, and now he's almost caught out. Chavo tried to get at him instead, but now Angle makes the tag to AJ Styles. Styles climbing to the top rope, Chavo in trouble.
He scores a pin. He's got 1, 2, 3, he got him! No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Nope. Overzealous there, Mr. Punk. But Styles looks like he's going to get the pin here instead.
He's going to get him. 1, 2, 3, he got him! No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Nah, it's close, and look at that, Hernandez hanging AJ Styles in the ropes, and a Canadian destroyer of sorts. Almost like a Mexican destroyer, in the interference from Hernandez yet again, working well for Chavo, and there's the DDT to Kurt Angle. But Styles back up in this fast-paced championship, non-title matchup even.
I just want to hurt him. I want to hurt him. I just want to hurt him.
Well, you see the way you talk about Styles, you really don't like him, but out of nowhere, going back to the action, the Angle slam by Kurt Angle. You know, this past week on Metal, when AJ Styles interrupted you, it really was a bit dirty-minded and a bit backhanded of sorts. I can understand why you want to hurt this man. He's obviously, you're not in the condition to compete at the moment, but Styles is, and he just delivered a shooting star press to the outside. And again, the chant is going for your name, Punk.
Capacity crowd obviously into this match as much as I am.
And it's obviously caught the ire of AJ Styles. He's not happy with you. Of course, he came out and interrupted you this past week on Metal. He's obviously not happy. He's letting it known. But meanwhile, in the ring, the 2 non-legal men in Kurt Angle and Hernandez locking up. And although they're not the legal men, Kurt Angle has the ankle lock submission locked in. Hernandez can tap all he likes, but he's not going to at the moment. But, well, you got up from your seat. You don't want no trouble here, AJ. AJ, obviously not. Oh my lord, oh my. Somebody better separate this before it gets out of hand. And look at that. Punk and Styles going head to head. Angle ordering Styles back to the ring. And, oh my. Oh, do you see the disrespect being shown by Styles to Angle, just shoving him out of the way and getting back in the ring? Oh my, but he's back up now. Oh my goodness, Styles in trouble with the legal men and the border toss. Border toss by Hernandez, and this one's over. Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez, the NLW Tag Team Champions, picking up the victory in this non-title matchup. Kurt Angle is furious, and CM Punk has left the broadcast table now. He's up and running again. Of course, he was talking about how he hated Styles in that matchup during the commentary he was providing. He's back up and he's not happy. First he gets interrupted by Styles on Metal, and now he gets interrupted him here during a matchup of it all places. And Here we go. This is where Styles was about to go on a roll, and Kurt Angle had the ankle lock in, and the animosity between Styles and Punk, let alone between him and Angle, was off the charts. The disrespect shown by Styles to Angle ultimately cost them. Couldn't coexist as a team, and Angle berating Styles in the middle of the ring here. The NLW Tag Team Champions get the victory in this non-title matchup, and after speaking his mind on commentary out here, Punk not in any mood, and neither is Styles. Styles shoving his opponent for over the limit out of the way, and he's again looking at the eyes of Punk, and again looking into the eyes of Kurt Angle. AJ Styles is not making any friends, he's only making enemies here. CM Punk is not happy with Styles, and he's still out for vengeance. Styles and Angle lose this matchup. They're trying to coexist for the meantime, but it's all gonna blow up to epic proportions when we head in for their matchup at Over the Limit. But nevertheless, still to come up next, in the next part, it's gonna be the final matchup in the tournament. Who is gonna be the number one contender for Triple H's World Heavyweight Championship at Over the Limit? Will it be Sting, or will it be The Undertaker? Sting versus The Undertaker. Winner faces Triple H for the world title at Over the Limit. We'll see you next.